I want to talk to you today about quiet quitting and why this is a major problem. We've talked about in the past mass layoffs. You've heard this in the news. That was a thing last year coming into this year. But this year, this term is quiet quitting is really getting people's attention because it is actually a situation that employers need to be worried about because it's folks that are showing up to do the work that you have given them and they're doing it exactly like they should, but they're not doing any more and they're not doing any less. And this is a problem because it actually means that you may have custody of their bodies from 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whenever your schedule is, but they're not putting in the best parts of themselves into the work. They're not engaged. They're not enthusiastic. They're not loving your company. They're not great advocates for your brand, your product, or your service when they're out there in the wild. They're just coming, taking a paycheck, doing the job, and doing no more and no less. And why is this happening? Because as a leader, executive team, management team, you've done exactly the same. You've allowed this situation to occur. You've allowed these things to happen. And I know that sounds super negative, but let me just ask you, when was the last time that you had the most a real, true, authentic conversation with maybe one of the loneliest, lowest rungs on the ladder, with those positions that nobody pays attention to, and ask them what they see, what they're feeling, what they see is wrong in the environment? It's enlightening. The reality is you should be doing that from the top all the way down and backwards, because at the end of the day, every single employee that you've hired, you've made an investment in. So for them to show up every day and just get the job done when the possibilities of more is there. And I'm not saying, oh, we could get 20% more production out of these people, or, we're looking to play some sort of game so we can, trick them into doing more. It's not that. It's about the lifestyle and the culture of your business. It's about whether they show up and they're excited about the work they do. They're excited about the opportunity to contribute. Why? Because they feel heard and they feel understood. And the only way you get there, that actually starts to take place, is when you start making those investments, when you start creating the ripple of connection to those folks, which means you got to get out from behind the lofty perch and you've got to come down and talk to the people. You got to first thank them for being there. Ask them what you can be doing better, where they see opportunity to learn other aspects of the job, the other areas of the business, skills and abilities that they think that they have that maybe they don't get an opportunity to contribute currently. How can you tap that? And it doesn't just happen because you do one conversation. It has to happen continually. This is what leadership is: leading the people to do the work at the best possible zenith, where everybody understands the mission and the goal, and everybody has a level of commitment that's just a little better than, let me punch the clock, let me just do the job. And I think honestly, this thing is an emerging problem. And I get it. You've got Gallup that says, 45% of the workforce is looking for a job, actively looking for a job now. I think it's actually much higher. I probably had 10 or 15 conversations the last 30 to 45 days with people that are in career transition. And one of the primary reasons that they are leaving the companies they're with, and they're well paid, they're certainly in some interesting work, they don't feel like anybody sees them. They don't feel like anybody hears them. They certainly don't feel like they have an opportunity to contribute. They are just a number, just doing the work. So if you aren't going to go out of your way to put any extra effort to build that relationship with me as an employee, why should I put in any extra effort to put out extra work or effort on my part to be a good employee? What you've got to do is you got to create a plan. You've got to make sure that everybody within your organization, from your executive team and leadership to the management and support staff, understand the requirement to build those relationships, start making those investments. And I'm not talking about the kumbaya company picnics. I'm not talking about, the quarterly all hands meeting, the incentive trips, or the gamification that a lot of these organizations have tried. Nobody cares. We see through the veil bullshit that is. You have to start having conversations, belly to belly, heart to heart, conversations about the work, about contribution, what you can be doing to make their jobs easier. I did a video maybe a few videos back, talking about the secret to customer service, which is showing up and asking your customers, what can I do to make working with us better for you in any way, shape, or form? It's amazing the kind of feedback you get from a customer. Well, guess what? If you do the exact same thing, maybe a little bit different language with your employees, you'll have some amazing feedback. Maybe not right away, because people need to know that this isn't some sort of secret plan to identify problem or potential issue employees. You got to take the time to build the trust. So just start with something simple. Hey, we never get an opportunity to talk. Let's sit down and have a quick 10-minute conversation. What's going on? What do you see? What would you like to see improved in your department, in your area? Send them on a mission to figure out a great idea or a great concept that they might be interested in working on or learning more about. Give them something to excite them. Give them something to understand that you're making an investment in them as an individual team player, a contributor, but also thanking them for being there. So I ask those leaders out there, when was the last time you just walked around your staff and just said, thanks for being a part of this team. Thank you for being in this organization, doing the work that you do. And I realize that I have been deficient in really seeing how it's going. So I'd like to change that. And I can see senior leaders rolling their eyes going, yeah, that's just great, man. How are you going to do that? I don't have enough time with what I do now. Let me ask you, if you don't make the time now, when will you make the time? When they leave? Or when production drops, the sales number drops, your customer satisfaction drops, and everybody's pushing the panic button? It's too late. Do it. Invest in it. Create those positive ripples and see if you can't stem the tide of the quiet quitting for your organization. Because my guess is, if you're being honest with yourself right now, you got people on staff right now that are quiet quitters. You just haven't wanted to face it. Now's the time. Until next time, my friends, go out there, make a difference in the world, make a difference in someone's life. You will, by extension, make a difference in your own life. And as always, ripple on.